Hey everyone, I've been meaning to make a video for a while now on mindset and the mindset it takes to really succeed at this. So I've got my phone here with some notes, so I'm just gonna read through it and I'm gonna talk about these concepts so you get a really good idea for it, okay? So first of all, getting lean and fit requires a natural consistency over a long period of time. So weight loss is a combination of three levers: workout consistency, nutrition consistency, and walking consistency, okay? So habits take a long time to form. It is very easy for clients to drift back into their old habits after completing one of our short-term programs. So that's the thing. So most clients that come in here, you don't actually have consistency or motivation, right? So you come here to get a jump start. And there's sort of a progression of how you become consistent and motivated. So the first is you need to be held compliant, right? So when I do these three things, I got workout consistency, nutrition consistency, and walking consistency. So you need to be held compliant with your workouts. You come in 3 times a week. You need to be held compliant with your nutrition. That's through your meal tracking sheet every 2 weeks. And you need to be held compliant with your walking. Now, the walking is the one that people miss. So probably one of the biggest causes of weight gain these days is people are just so sedentary, right? They're just sitting all the time. And if you actually look at their step trackers on people who just work a sedentary job and commute and then go home and watch Netflix, like they'll be something like 1,500 to 2,500 steps a day only. And just to put it into context, like our ancestors were probably on average at 15,000 to 20,000 a day. So we're like incredibly sedentary. Like we're doing nothing. And I've done experiments like that with this watch here, and I'm just like blown away at how little I sometimes move. And the difference between 2,000 steps, which is like, burning 200 calories extra a day, and like 10,000 steps, which is like 1,500 calories, that's the difference of like a whole pizza, So if you're walking or you're not walking is the difference between if you're able to eat an entire full pizza or not. So it's really important with this consistency, right? So those three things: workout consistency, nutrition consistency, and walking consistency. And that's what we do with the tracking sheet, the app with the walking, and the workouts are naturally tracked by the Mind-Body program. But what's great is actually when we get you to do those Facebook check-ins, I find the clients that do Facebook check-ins, forcing that type of workout compliance is amazing. Clients that do that always get the best results. So it's really just, if you want to have weight loss over, like if you got a goal where you want to lose like 60 pounds, the answer isn't like crazy workouts. That's not going to do anything. The answer is crazy consistency, like a metronome, like for like 6 months long, right? That's the answer. Everyone gets that wrong. They think it's about heroic days and heroic effort and like crazy dieting, and it's not. It's about consistency. And you just get that trend of weight loss that you see on the app when you record your weight loss. It's about continuing that on consistently all the way to your dream goal. Clients that do that stick to the consistent compliance-based program for 6 months get outrageous results around here. Okay, so the next thing. In order to have that consistency, the program has to be simple. That's why I like the diet. Like I've read like every nutrition diet you can imagine on the complexities of nutrition and diet, but the real art of it is to make it simple where it can fit into normal behaviors and eating patterns really easily, right? That's the ticket. If you can create a diet that does that, that's going to be the diet that's adhered to. That's going to be the diet that they're easily compliant to and then therefore consistent to, right? About the only thing you can upgrade about our diet is there's a couple pieces you can add in that you run a little risk of people becoming hungry afterwards, right? But the point of the diet is to completely eliminate hunger. So it's super easy to not be a slave to food anymore. And then for 6 months, you just relax and enjoy yourself effortlessly as you lose weight. You can add some things back, but the big thing is really just hitting the protein. That's about the only really custom thing that you could add to it, is really hitting your protein target of about 1 pound. 1 gram per pound of body weight. So if you're a 200-pound male, it's 200 grams of protein, right? If you want to build more muscle, you might even go heavier, like 1.5 grams or something. So if you're a woman, you're 140 pounds, you want about 140 grams of protein, right? That's about it. Everything else, you just need to fit in that meal template. Super simple. And it's not just like for weight loss. People feel amazing on it, right? They get their hunger and cravings gone and subside. They sleep better. They have more energy. All of that stuff perks up. It's because it's designed around the same life-giving things that diets like paleo and keto give you, except done in a very, very simple way. So it's very simple, very easy to follow. And the same with the workouts around here. They're designed to be easy. You're not supposed to, not easy, sorry, that's not the right word. They're not supposed to kill you, right? They're supposed to just achieve an outcome of building your lean muscle and metabolism every session. They're not meant to, what's the word? There's a lot of pride and show off about working out, like how much who can kill each other more. And trainers do that often. They're like, oh, I'm gonna drill sergeant thing, and I'm gonna kill it. But that does nothing but hurt consistency, because it makes, there's a level of pain that you're experiencing in the workout that's gonna deter you in the future. Particularly, you might be fine right now, it's summer and everything's good. But when a bad event happens in your life, where you're feeling pain already, and you're already stressed, the last thing you wanna do is come get killed at the studio. Right? So, but what are we really trying to do? We lose weight with nutrition outside the gym and walking. We don't need the gym studio for specifically hardcore weight loss. So what's the best thing that we can do with our time here? Invest in our lean muscle mass and metabolism. That's going to pay off in dividends in the future, right? And that's why it's designed this way. And that's why if you ever seen like professionals, bodybuilders, and fitness competitors, they only train in this style. They lift weights heavy, they go from a bit higher reps to a bit lower reps, they stay roughly in the same type of exercises, they vary it a little bit, but they just repeat it day in and day out with their diet, day in and day out for years and years and years and years and years, and that's what they have. It's nothing, it's not a secret. They've just been doing perfect consistency for 6 years. So that's all it's about. It just keeps it really simple. Okay, so the next thing. So first, one thing you need to understand, it's a mindset thing, a perspective thing, that the design of your life caused your health and weight issues. So by that, I mean like, what do I have here? Everything in your life exerts a pressure on you. Relationships, finances, jobs, kids, family. How busy are you? How much time do you have to cook? How stressed are you, right? What's your commute like? The combination of your lifestyle ultimately determines if you have excessive hunger or if you move little, right? Like if your life depresses you, well, the last thing you want to do is go for a walk in the park, right? And if you're super stressed at work, you might want to go home and binge, right? Or you're fighting with your partner all the time and you feel powerless or something, and then you want to eat this food, right? So it always will manifest some way in eating too much or moving too little, right? So it's like, here's your life, and then there's all these pressures around you, and they're just constantly pressuring your life to, you know, gain weight, no sleep, you know, no energy, right? It's a constant pressure on you, right? So when you come here and you lose weight and you get consistent and all that stuff, all those pressures are usually still there, right? It's just now that you have a place that's fighting back against it, right? I mean, probably the more advanced version of what I would call being smart fit is you start really assessing your life and you start analyzing what is putting that negative pressure on you that would be forcing your psychology and your unconscious to, you know, crave food or that sort of a thing, right? So, or moving little, wanting to sit down and just kind of veg and watch Netflix, right? So the design of your life is really key, but understanding that if you're not at a place, if you've just started, chances are you're not going to radically transform your life yet. That might happen after 6 months or 12 months or something like that. You start transforming the pressure of your life that is exerting itself on you. But up until that point, you need something that's fighting back. And that's why I think of this place as a bit like a cornerstone in your life. It's like in your corner. It's got that, it's by coming here, sticking to the compliance, staying consistent, you're sort of always able to fight back against that. As soon as you take it out, it happens often. Because when people aren't ready, they stop coming here. They're like, oh great, I got it. And then the life pressure just crushes them again, right? So it's really about avoiding that. Like if you really want to succeed with it, it takes about 6 months to 12 months to really get your motivation built so much. And here's the thing about motivation. Let me just explain this. So it's a 3-part thing. You have compliance. That's the tasks we give you. That'll be the first piece. Usually when people start here, they don't want to do it. Like they don't naturally. Their body's like, no, I want to sit around and I want to eat and I want to crave, right? So we make them comply with fasting, distance between meals, walking. Their body reluctantly does it for a bit, right? Then it does it for a while and it starts getting results. And it starts getting a little bit easier and that person's starting to build what I call momentum. So compliance turns into momentum, okay? If you've done that long enough, 3 months to 6 months, momentum will turn into motivation. And you will now be internally right? Now you're ready to go redesign your life, right? You've really built that aura, that energy inside of you. It takes a while to do that though, right? So, okay, so the next thing, this is a big one. So most people that come here, they come as a pleasure-oriented person. Usually if you've been, like the design of your life, what it makes you do is seek pleasure and comfort, right? When it's not fun, when you don't really enjoy your life, when it's like, I'm stressed all the time at work, I hate my commute, finances are a bit rough, you seek pleasure, right? Pleasure is going to make you feel good in the moment to avoid that thing that's occurring in the future or all the time, right? So it allows you to just enjoy the present a little bit more, right? So this concept I'm going to describe is when you start into this lifestyle, what you ideally want to do, or what will happen is you will move from a pleasure-oriented person to an achievement-oriented person. And hormonally, this means you move from a dopamine-driven person, where it's like dopamine is your primary way of feeling good, and you move towards a serotonin. And serotonin is a social hormone. It's like associated with pride and like social status and achievement, right? And they're sort of like opposite ends. Like if you're a heavy dopamine person, like a drug addict or something, your serotonin levels are usually in the gutter, and social, and like I would reflect socially, right? That's just, your life would show that you have that. So it takes a bit to do this, because we've been you follow your intuition, you follow your psychology, and it just leads you down the dopamine path. So here you start building towards the achievement path, right? And it's really what people want deep down. If you really get down to what are their deepest desires for esteem and, you know, their community and their social standing and their growth and their pride, that's really what they want. It's a lot of work to get it, and they usually don't know how to do it, particularly if that life is always exerting pressure all over them, right? They get pretty worn out and they just go to the dopamine, right? So by starting this in your life, you start going towards an achievement-driven, serotonin-driven, you know, shoulders back, proud life, rather than comfort, dopamine, you know, kind of hiding from the world life. You kind of get what I mean? It's a very powerful concept, and dopamine has become the great addiction of the last 30 years. From our food, creates dopamine response. Phones, dopamine response. Just everything. TV, Netflix, it's all dopamine all day long. And what's happening is serotonin levels are in the gutter, probably the lowest they've ever been with human beings, and that reflects in our mental health. Because if you don't feel proud, if you don't feel, what are like high integrity, like well accepted in your community, like those are all feelings, because serotonin is interesting. Serotonin, your mind is judging you all the time. Right? It's judging everything. It's just how it works. There's a part of it that you don't control. It's judging everything. It knows where you are socially. It knows what you're doing, and it's judging you. And if it judges you poorly, it will punish you with low energy depression and, you know, less serotonin. It's bizarre, right? It's like no one wants that, but your body does it to you, right? So the trick is you need to build a lifestyle. You need to incubate in a place for a while, and you want to get to that place where your unconscious starts to judge you favorably and starts rewarding you with serotonin. And then that's when life really starts. That's where you're supposed to really, that's flourishing, do you know? Anyways, I'll move on from that one. I think you get that point. Yeah, so I think that about covers it. That's sort of the main, like getting your mindset around this, right? It's, people think they're just gonna, you know, do a short little stint in a program, they're gonna get it, and they're just gonna move on. But it's so deep this now, you know, and it really didn't take, I didn't quite understood it till I went through it myself, right? You get kids, you get stressed out. You know, when I started this place, I was in my late 20s, single. Life was simple. I devoted 1% of my life to fitness. It was the easiest thing on the planet. And then you get kids, and then you get a business, and you get employees, and it gets stressful, and you're just like, oh, well, the last thing I want to do is go to the gym or eat well. I just want to do comfort and Netflix, and kind of get what I mean? So I've come to learn, like in the start, I just thought, oh, why can't everyone just work out and eat properly? You can't. You need someone to delegate. You need to delegate it to someone. And they sort of take it for you. You just show up, right? You're too tired. Your brain is too full. You just show up and they take you through the motions, and then you wake up after 6 months, you're like, wow, I'm a different person. And now I have motivation, and my brain power has been freed. That's the last thing I want to say about this. So it's about focus and brain power. So every person that usually comes in here, all right, again, that pressure of that life. I like to think of it like a computer CPU. You know, it's like, if you've ever, most people probably haven't seen this, but if you can go into the back end of your computer, you can see how busy your processor is, right? It's like 0 to 100%. And you can see, you know, if you got a couple windows open and a couple applications in a game, it might be 60% of the CPU is being used right now, right? So the same thing happens with the human mind. So if you got stress and you got issues in a relationship, or you got kids, you're up at 4 a.m. and you're tired and you don't sleep well, and your finances are bothering you kind of get what I mean, just the normal things that are happening in people's lives. Well, what happens is your CPU is maxed. You're 100% all day long. You have tiniest little sliver for yourself, right? And like the reality, like a factual reality, is you cannot fit health into that paradigm. It just cannot be done. If you have that little sliver, all you can do is delegate it to someone to take care of it for you, right? And then hopefully the program that you're into eventually starts freeing that up, you know, and you're maybe only at 50% and 40%. You got all this free time and energy now that your CPU, and that is when your mental health will improve. That's when you're going to feel amazing. That's when you're going to feel, that's probably, again, to be associated with non-dopamine activities, right? You're going to be a serotonin type person at that point, right? So yeah, that's just really want to emphasize that most people that come here, they actually do not have the ability to focus properly on health and to make it a priority, and they require someone else to do it for them and to keep them consistent and keep them compliant. So they build that momentum, and then they eventually get to that place where they're self-propelled and they're motivated. So just some concepts that can help you have a better mindset about how to approach this, so it really becomes a success for you. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helps you with the mindset on how to approach all that stuff, and it just leads to you being incredibly successful with this program, okay?